Okay, so that Christmas. This is the new film that's kind of from Richard Curtis, right? It is directed by where we are, Simon Otto, right? It is written by Richard Curtis and Peter Souter. The film is produced by Nicole P. Heron, Adam Tandy. It is executive produced by Bonnie Arnold, Lara Bray, Rebecca Cobb, Mary Coleman, Natalie Fisher, Javier Hernaz, Colin Hopkins, Julie Lockhart, Elizabeth Murdoch, Sarah Smith, and Richard Curtis. It is associate produced by Olivia Lynn and Matthew Tivan. There's digital production from Shane Mulholland and co-executive production from Francis Deschamps, right? With also some help from Aaron Dem. John Powell took care of the music. Sim Evan Jones edits the piece with Rachel Freck on casting. Production design is Justin Hutchinson's Chapburn. Mike Redman is art direction. Our voice cast, let us say. Brian Cox is Father Christmas. His reindeer Dasher is Guz Khan. We have then got Lighthouse Bill, played by Bill Nye. There is Danny, voiced by Jack Wisniewski. Sam, voiced by Zazie Hayhurst. Her sister Charlie, voiced by Sienna Sayer. We've got Bernadette, voiced by India Brown. Her little sister Eve is voiced by Bronte Smith. Right, we've got their parents, Mrs. and Mr. McNutt, voiced by Lolly Adefop and Race Darby. We got Nisha, voiced by Kuru Agawal. Scarlett, voiced by Ava Talbot. Teddy, voiced by Freddie Spree. Who else do we have? Miss Trapper, voiced by Fiona Shaw. Mrs. Williams, Jodie Whittaker. There is Miss Moji, voiced by Sindhu V. Mrs. Forrest, played by Catherine Parkinsons. Mrs. Beckles, Rosie Cavallero. Mr. Beckles, voiced by Andy Nyman. Mr. Forrest, voiced by Alex McQueen. Mrs. Horton, voiced by Deborah Findlay. Ural, voiced by Paul Kay. The weather person, voiced by Alicia Davis. That's probably our key crew, right? The gist of the piece is it's an unforgettable Christmas for the townsfolk of Wellington-on-Sea when the worst snowstorm in history alters everyone's plans, including Santa's. So, yes, that is it. Now, I was going to see this during the London Film Festival, but I just didn't really get around to it. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. I was curious because it's Richard Curtis is involved, and I love About Time. That's a fantastic film. Yeah, it's actually based on some books Curtis had written. Didn't know he wrote books. You know what I mean? Yeah, based on 3 books, right? What were they called? Oh, I think it's That Christmas and Other Stories by Richard Curtis and Rebecca Cobb, who did the illustrations. So yeah, that's like, okay. So yeah, you know what I mean? I thought I'd check it out. And we start off with Father Christmas with one reindeer. Now they mention the others are sick, but I don't know, a bit flimsy. But he's on his way to this remote town in England. I think it's his last stop. And there's a crazy storm blowing them all over the place. But Lighthouse Bill lights the lighthouse and they find the town. A few mishaps, right? And then he's just talking about why it's so important to hit this town. Because there's a lot going on. And that leads us to, I think it's 3 days before, where we then learn what has been happening, right? And there's these 2 twin girls, Sam and Charlie, with Charlie being very mischievous, but mischievous for a reason. But it's kind of making it seem that she's bad, right? And you know what happens if you're bad? There's no presents. But we see like a school play. We got one, kid, Danny, whose mum and dad are divorced. And so it's whether the dad can make it. So we have a lot of things going on. We got a few of them that live very close together, right? In a cul-de-sac, as it were, maybe you might call it. So they hang out together, travel to school together in a van, just all of these things. It does. I think for a little kid, this is going to be splendid, right? Definitely. But I think there are things that feel rather forced, Definitely things that feel rather forced. A bit like some of the mischief, right? We got some of that. When you've got Danny's situation, his dad's, somewhere else, you kind of know where that's going, right? We know where that's going. We know what the deal with the strict teacher is going to be. All of this we get. There's also, kind of like, we got an interracial couple, an Indian single mum. It felt like the diversity felt a little forced, And again, it's just like, it's the typical shit we see, Typical shit we see. But all of those things, as I said, they do feel forced, but I think a little kid isn't looking at any of those things, right? They're just going to enjoy this. There are some very nice moments, right? And like the message of, loneliness, having friends and family around, that kind of thing, like selflessness, right? We get a moment with Christmas gifts and all of that. So these moments are nice. Really, sweet, And I think they help save the film. There are other things, like there is a couple of nods to Love Actually, which I don't know, might be Curtis's biggest commercial film. I prefer that About Time, but Love Actually is probably the biggest one. And some of it I like, right? I like the Bill Nye, the Colin Firth story. Like it doesn't make any sense when you think about it, but it is it is kind of charming. The Emma Thompson story is just heart wrenching even. The story with Richard it was Andrew Lincoln and the girl from Gavin and Stacey, the porn set. That's actually sweet, right? A lot of the other ones I didn't really enjoy. I hated the little kid in the airport and all of that nonsense, right? But yeah, anyway, we do get nods to Love Actually in it, which, you kind of roll your eyes, whatever. And all of these things, like the animation is well done, right? The music, the soundtrack, that works, I think the last song is Coldplay. I think it is. I'm not quite sure. I think it's Coldplay doing a Christmas song, but I might be wrong. Anyway, it's a film that you can definitely see fitting into people's Christmas watching, right? I don't think it's going to be iconic like The Snowman, the Frog Song by Rupert the Bear, which is, that has to be my favorite Christmas theme. The Frog Song, P. If you haven't checked out the Frog Song, type into YouTube, Frog Song, Rupert the Bear, and you will be charmed. Oh, it is so good. It is incredible. But I don't think it's going to be as iconic as those things. But I can see it fitting in, because it's inoffensive, right? Little kids will watch and all of that. The whole ending thing is a bit, but yeah, that Christmas, there are definite moments of charm that will make you smile, right? That will make you smile, will warm your little heart. And that helps from the, I wouldn't say chilly rest of the film, but it is a little bit, what's happening, right? It's a little predictable, but, I think Christmas films usually are. It's better than Red One. We will say that. It's definitely better than that. So it's now playing on Netflix, so you can check out that Christmas.